everybody, and welcome back to Critical Crafting. This is Dylan, your crafting DM here. Today I am very excited to share with you how you can make some super inexpensive and easy flight bases for your games that your minis won't fall off of and that you can take on and off. For this project, you're just going to need some very common things: cheapo Tupperware, translucent glue stick, and then some small magnets and some kind of a drill. Let's get crafting. One quick note, you can use other plastic, like what your minis come in, but for this we're just going to use some Tupperware. Most Tupperware you're going to end up having to cut off some of the edges so you have a flat surface to work with, and a lot of Tupperware has letters and numbers and that kind of a thing on the bottom, so make sure you're cutting those off and leaving enough space for your base. You can use just about anything as a guide for making the circle that you're going to cut out for your base. I'm just using the cap off of like some Polaroid film, but you could use a melt cap or something and just trace around it with a Sharpie. The next thing is to cut that circle out with scissors. You're going to want to be careful, but you're probably going to end up with some ragged edges. You'll do this twice, cutting out 2 circles for your flight base. One for the top, one for the bottom. I tried to use my Proxxon to cut through this, and you can cut through it, but I found that it was even less precise than the scissors. It didn't end well. If you're OCD like me about certain crafts, you'll want to clean up those edges. So I used 40 grit sandpaper to initially clean them up, and then I switched to 120 grit to really clean those so they look nice on the sides. Once I have those all nice and clean, I use my handheld drill to put a hole in one of those bases. I'll link that drill in the description. Next, we're going to take our hot glue stick, which make sure is the transparent hot glue stick, and I'm going to measure 2 inches and just cut it. There we go. Using your hot glue gun, you'll apply some glue to the bottom of the other glue stick and stick it onto your Tupperware base, right in the center. And you can apply glue either to the glue stick or to the bottom center of your base with a hole in it, gluing it on the top. Now we need to do some work on our mini. Using the handheld drill, I'm going to drill a small hole which is just deep enough to fit one of these little magnets. Be careful with these because they kind of jump all over the place. Like, they're really, really tiny. Look how tiny. And then it just kind of like, okay, put it in, put it in. Yep, it fits. In the where'd it go? There it is. Once you're sure your magnet fits, apply some super glue to the hole that you made. You might do a little bit of cleanup work so you don't leave some residue on your mini base, and stick that magnet in. Some minis might have a small ridge on the bottom of them, so make sure that when you're drilling the hole for these, you make sure that it's a little less deep than it would be if it was flat. We want to make sure that that magnet is basically right flush with that bottom of the edge around the base. Using the guide hole we drilled earlier, we take our hand drill and drill a hole into the actual glue stick. Next, we take some super glue and fill in that hole, and clean it off a little bit. This next step is super important. You're going to want to make sure you put a magnet onto the actual other magnet on your mini base. Stick that into the hole and slide the mini off. Now the magnet is in the base. Spritz that with the Instaset spray, and you're ready to rock. The nice thing about the magnets is the taller your flight base is, the more wobbly it is, and with the magnet, the mini will actually stay on there even if there's a bit of an earthquake on your battle map. And they come on and off easily. I found that the Noodles Company bowl Tupperware lids were just the perfect size for both huge and large mini flight bases. I cut 2 of those, and then I get to work with my glue stick. I decided to cut this one to 3 inches to give myself a little higher of a base. The next thing I do is glue those on opposite ends of those circles. If I put one in the middle, it won't be sturdy enough to support the mini, and putting them on the sides lets me put minis underneath of the flight base. I didn't include magnets on these because the minis are so big, they'd likely fall off anyway. So now you can go and make as many flight bases as you want, super fast, super easy. We hope to see you again here on Critical Crafting. Please do like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.